Krishna the Causeless Existence. An excerpt from International Journal of Gita Dhyana Sadhana, quarterly publication for April to June 2012. There are 5 stages of Dhamma, as Buddha calls it, or Dhamma. After every 500 years, the Dhamma will be less and less in its potency and effectiveness. It is a wheel which is set in motion, then as it continues to move, its momentum and speed goes down, and then a time comes when it stops completely. Then after 25 years, however, this process of slowing down continues for 500 years. But after 2500 years or 25 centuries, the wheel completely comes to a stoppage. It will need another Buddha to turn it for next coming 25 centuries. Krishna came into existence both as a wave and ocean. You can get connected to his oceanic form even today. You can get connected to the oceanic form of Mahavir, oceanic form of Jesus, oceanic form of Buddha even today. They have ever existed in a form, have assumed a shape that can be used to experience the oceanic presence, and this form, the wave form in which they appeared once, can be used as a medium to experience the oceanic presence. When these idols were introduced for the first time, they were not introduced for ritualistic worship. Instead, they came into existence as esoteric science, the inner science. It was a hidden, a mystical science. These idols represented someone who had lived in that form, who had once assumed that form and made this promise that if someone concentrates and meditates on these images, certainly one can be connected to my oceanic presence. Every week I speak on various topics during the meditation sessions. The energy that is overflowing, the inner beauty, assumes the form of words. These words, the sentences, are embedded with the energy field of TAOSHOBUDDHA. They have assumed a form, and it is my promise to you that if you listen to these videos, these audios again and again, even after many years, meditatively, you will be connected to the same energy field. When people listen to the audio that was recorded in 2005, nearly 7 years ago, light of the being or relax into being, it will have the same effect as it had for the first time when it was recorded. This is a promise. So these idols were the promise that once these enlightened ones have lived into that form, this form represents them. And whenever someone meditates on these, it will have the same meditative effect. Therefore, the insights through Gita Dhyana Sadhana Journal always come afresh as whispers of the unknown. You never know what the unknown and unknowable wants to communicate to you. However, you have to be open and utterly vulnerable. You have to be open and utterly vulnerable. It is like sunlight that falls irrespective of who the person is, makes no distinction. But you have to be open. If you sit within your walls, inside your living room, with all the windows shut, the light of sun can never penetrate. So too, with all the windows of the mind shut, the ray of awareness can penetrate not. Then you will wander in your self-created hell. There is a question. Please explain what were the social, political, moral and religious conditions that were responsible for the incarnation of Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna made a promise. Whenever there is a decline in righteousness, whenever the atrocities increase, I assume the human form again and again. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharat abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyam tadatmanam srijamyam. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharat yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham tadatmanam srijamyaham. For a consciousness like Krishna, anytime, situation or anything can just trigger the manifestation or incarnation. Indeed, no time or situation can be responsible for such incarnation. It is an altogether different thing that a sublime consciousness like Krishna has to act in a unique manner under these situations. However, such consciousness is not time dependent or dependent on any circumstance or situation. Only unconsciousness is bound by time and space. You are bound by time and space, but Krishna is not bound by time and space. An awakened one is never bound by time and space. Always remember this. Awakened one is never bound by time. It is an altogether different matter that he adjusts to time accordingly. He adjusts to time accordingly. It is erroneous to think that Krishna was born because of atrocities that prevailed and bad time. Erroneous. And this erroneousness has been propagated by your religious preceptors, your priests and custodians of religion. It is erroneous to think that Krishna was born because of atrocities that prevailed in bad times. Had it been so, Krishna is born as causal chain of actions and reactions, good and bad. A human being is born into existence because of the causal chain. You have done certain actions, and as a result to that, you assume a form. Cause and effect relationship. Krishna's birth is not guided by any cause. Make sure and understand this. These are the insights of the awakened one into the sutras of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is not born out of any cause, as has been enunciated. If there was the cause, that will mean that the birth of Krishna is utilitarian. Anytime there is cause and effect relationship, this is utilitarian. If you do this, this will happen. If you are hungry, the food will be available. This is utilitarian. Because food has a utility to satiate your hunger. This is the very nature of utility. Something that comes into existence has a utility to satiate or fulfill your desire. Krishna's existence is not utilitarian. This means that we can only understand Krishna as utilitarian, not otherwise. You understand food only because it has a utility to satiate your desire, your hunger. If food does not have desire to satiate your hunger, it cannot have utility for you. If you are a vegetarian, then meat dishes will not have any utility for you. Will it? Because these does not appeal to you. So although it has utility, but it has no utility for you. Krishna is not utilitarian. And this is erroneous, a greatest fallacy that we had been propagating, that Krishna is utilitarian. Whenever there is an increase in the atrocities, whenever their negativities increase, Krishna assumes the human form. This is utilitarian. And this is absolutely wrong and misinterpretation of the sublime message of Bhagavad Gita. When the flower blossoms by the roadside, and the one passing that way may think that flower has blossomed because of me, and its beauty and fragrance is for me alone. This is how the ignorant one thinks. And all those who are reading Bhagavad Gita, they, as ignorant when they think that whenever the atrocities increase, Krishna assumes the human form. When a flower blossoms by the roadside, it is blossoming for its own reason, not to give fragrance to anyone or any particular person, but the particular person always think that the flower have blossomed because of me, and its beauty and fragrance is for me alone. Hindus think that Krishna blossomed only because of him, not for a Christian. Krishna does not blossom for a Muslim or a Christian or a person of any other faith. It is only Hindus who proclaim that Krishna has blossomed for us. Maybe he may write in his diary that the flower along the way I pass to welcome me. Very natural for a man to think that the flower has blossomed for me because this is the way that I pass every morning to go to my work. He may write it in his diary, and that will become his scripture. However, the flower blossoms along the lonely way as well. It does not matter that flower blossoms only in the gardens. Flower can blossom anywhere. When the rain falls, after that the season of spring comes, it gives a reminder of the blossoming of the first flower, and then many flowers blossom all around. The passers-by may get the fragrance touching his nostrils, or is captivated by its beauty. Certainly that is a different matter that happens. Whenever you are going through the place and you are vulnerable to the beauty and the fragrance of the flowers, but if your nostrils are blocked, you will not hear the fragrance. If your eyes are blocked, you will not see the beauty. Certainly that is a different matter. It does not affect the blossoming of the flower. If you are vulnerable, your eyes are innocent, your nostrils are innocent, you can feel the presence of the flower through its beauty and fragrance. It is a totally different matter. Passers-by may get the fragrance touching the nostrils or is captivated by its beauty. Certainly that is a different matter. It does not affect the blossoming of the flower. Beings like Krishna are not born for anyone or for any cause. They are born out of their own cause, out of their own free will. I speak for my own reasons. Whosoever is vulnerable listens to this live, and those who come across this beauty and the fragrance may listen to it anytime, and it will have the same effect as it is having now when you are listening to it live. This is what is called born out of his own cause. Their manifestation is not bound by cause and effect theory or karmic theory, the law of actions. As it has been propagated, there is a law of action. To every action there is a reaction. It is a different matter that someone gets the fragrance. There is no such time and space when an awakened one like Krishna is relevant. Krishna was relevant then and is relevant now and will always be relevant. Such consciousness is needed in each time and space. All spatio-times are suffering and are unhappy. Who is not interested in the beauty and the fragrance of flowers? Flowers may blossom anywhere, and those who are interested in beauty and the fragrance will reach there. If you are vulnerable to the flowers and their beauty, you will visit the flower gardens. You will be captivated by just the beauty and the fragrance that wafts there. It is erroneous to think that Krishna is utilitarian, as has been understood by your commentators. It is the narrowness and poverty of our understanding that we see the utility in each and everything. Anything useless has no value in our life. When clouds float in the sky, we think that the clouds are going to rain in our fields. The wrist watches and the glasses, if perchance, may also think like you. They will say that the wrists and the eyes are born so that we can adorn them. Man thinks that the flower is blossoming for me. The wrist may think the same way. The wrist watches and the glasses that goes on your eyes, if perchance may think like you, they will say that wrists or eyes are born so that we can adorn them. Because watches goes on the wrists and the glasses goes on the eyes. Human thinking makes everything egocentric and utilitarian. From the center of his ego, he claims that everything is there only because of him. The flowers, the sun, the moon and the stars are there only because of me. The way of life is not utilitarian. To think in the language of utility is erroneous. All that is happening in life is for no reason or for anyone. All that is happening in life is for no reason or for anyone. Instead, it is for the sake of happening. Flowers blossoming, clouds floating, sun, moon and stars are all for their own sake. Because if they do not blossom, if they do not shine, what else they will do? That is their nature. A flower's nature is to born, to spread its beauty and fragrance. It is very nature, it is the very essence of the flower. Everything in the existence lives in its essence, in its nature, except man. It is only man who wants to give meaning to each happening or the event. If you ask man, why is he doing this thing or that, his answer will always be that it is for someone else. I am cooking food for someone else. Are you cooking food for someone else? No, you are cooking food for someone else. It is a different matter that someone else gets a taste of it. If someone else gets a portion of it, it's a different matter. A meditator cooks food for himself. And in your language, it is considered selfishness. Indeed, it is, because he is guided by his self, his innerness, his being. A person like Krishna is living totally in his joy. He may exist anytime, it will be beneficial. Whenever I cook food, it will be beneficial to anyone who is coming here. It's not that I am cooking for that person. Perchance that person happens to be there when I am cooking food. The person will naturally share that aroma and the fragrance and the taste of that food. If you ask a man why is he doing this thing or that, his answer will always be that it is for someone else. He cannot live for his own sake. This is the very nature of the human beings. We do not live for our own sake. And the awakened one lives for his own sake. And even if he does so, the society will not allow him to live and he will be considered as selfish. We have given wrong notions to many words, wrong interpretations to many words, and in that it has become the part of our life that we are living with the wrong notions and interpretations of the words and the messages. A person like Krishna is living totally in his joy. He may exist anytime, it will be beneficial. Sun may rise anytime, its light will reach each house that is open. Clouds may rain anytime, we will grow strong. It does not matter when flowers blossom. Certainly they will be used for the garlands or the bouquet. Human thinking is wrong. We think that Krishna is born to establish righteousness or protect the sage. This is utilitarian yet narrow approach, and the approach of the ignorant one. We think that Krishna is born to establish righteousness. When he is there, certainly righteousness will prevail. Whenever a good chef goes anywhere, certainly he will exhibit his culinary expertise wherever he goes. It is an altogether different matter. Wherever he goes, that culinary skill goes with him. and those who know it will take the advantage of it. This is a different matter. It's not that he is coming to cook there. So too, we think that Krishna is born to establish righteousness. Krishna is the embodiment of righteousness. Wherever he goes, righteousness will shine. And whosoever is connected to that will attain to that same fragrance of righteousness that Krishna embodies. And then the thoughts that are positive, that will be protected. But to think that Krishna is born to establish righteousness, as has been understood by this particular sutra, yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati Bharat. O Bharat, O preceptor of, O descendant of India, Bharat, whenever there is a decline of righteousness, I has come from age to age. This is the meaning that has been given. This will be explained in the subsequent talks. We think that Krishna is born to establish righteousness or protect the sage. This is utilitarian yet narrow approach. No society can create circumstances for the manifestation of awakened ones like Krishna, Buddha, Mahabir, Jesus, etc. Consciousness of the society is far behind when the awakened one assumes the human birth. The consciousness of the society is far behind than the awakened one when the awakened one assumes the human birth. Do you think the consciousness of the awakened one can reconcile with the consciousness of the society? The society that we live in, they cannot understand the awakened one or his message. Only a rare one can understand the message. Even when the message of Bhagavad Gita was given for the first time, there were only 5 people who understood the message. Arjun, to whom the message was given, the grandsire Bhishma, who was there getting the inkling that something is going on between Krishna and Arjuna, but he could not understand, he could feel the message within. Then Vedavyas, the sage poet who composed it, and Vidur, the minister, the step-brother of Kuru dynasty, Dhritarashtra and Pandav, Vidur also understood the message, not being present there. And Dhritarashtra, whom the message was communicated. One embodiment of negativity is Dhritarashtra. Listen to this message as was communicated to him. Bhishma, the grandsire, felt it deep within. Vedavyas heard every single syllable and then composed it, give it a present form, and Vidur, being far away, understood the message. They were the vast majority, why others could not understand the message. So too, when an awakened one is born or comes into existence, he is far beyond his time. The society is not capable of understanding him. That's why we destroy a Socrates, a Hilaj Mansur, and all the awakened ones we destroy. Because he speaks a language of the beyond. He does not speak the language of the ordinary people. He speaks the language of truth. He manifests truth through his words and the presence. No society can create circumstances for the manifestation of awakened ones like Krishna, Buddha, Mahavir, Jesus. The consciousness of the society is far beyond, far behind when the awakened one assumes the human birth. Maybe sometimes in future, the humanity will be capable of understanding Krishna. The society is totally incapable to be the cause for the birth of Krishna. When it cannot understand the message of Krishna, how can it be responsible or the cause for the birth of Krishna? It is certain that with the presence of the awakened ones, the level of consciousness of the man changes. It is certain that with the presence of the awakened ones, when he manifests the words, his energy assumes the form of words. When he moves around, his fragrance wafts. Those who are vulnerable, their level of consciousness changes. It is certain. You have the experience of this. As these words flow, the message is being relayed. The energy field is communicated, is communed, becomes part of you. Then there is a change in your consciousness, in your understanding, in your way of life, in your thinking. It is natural. It is certain that with the presence of the awakened one, the level of consciousness of man changes. For me, no circumstance is significant or important. Instead, I give importance to the consciousness. It is your consciousness that was ready and vulnerable to reach to this fragrance, reach to this flower that has blossomed. Remember, life is not utilitarian. Life is simply a play. You can play it consciously or unconsciously. Imagine a person walking on the road. He has to go somewhere. Imagine a person walking on the road. He has to go somewhere. He has to reach somewhere at a specific time. He meets another person on the road. He has nowhere to go. Instead, he is there on the road just for fun, walking. Have you ever imagined the road becomes boring for someone who is goal-oriented? If you are goal-oriented, if your life is goal-oriented, you will be tensed and bored. That life has no meaning to you. And as compared to that, the person who is walking on the road, he has nowhere to go, nothing to attain, just a frolicsome, a play, walking on the street. Life will be meaningful for him. This is the essence of the life of Krishna. That the life is full of fragrance, beauty. When you are goal-oriented or you have to reach somewhere at a specific time, life will be boring and tiresome. And when you come out for a leisure walk, the same feet become light as if your gait has now wings. Whenever you have to do anything utilitarian within a time and a space, you are tense. You will start falling into unconsciousness. You will start falling asleep. Krishna has not manifested for any cause. He is there. He is there just like a person who has come out for a simple walk. Krishna has not manifested for any cause. He is there just like a person who has come out for a walk. His life is a game, a play, or a leela. Certainly along his way there will be many thorns and obstructions that he removes. Remember this. Certainly along his way there may be many thorns or obstructions that he removes as he is traversing along the path. Along the path that I am traversing, there were many obstructions, many thorns. I have to remove all these in order to have this opportunity that we can commune beyond time and space, living in different time zones, and can commune together and get the taste of the innerness of the being. Certainly along his way there will be many thorns and obstructions that he removes as he is traversing along the path. Removing the thorns is his joy, not compulsion. I speak to you out of my own free will and joy, not a compulsion that I have to come to speak to you. No one can force me to speak. I speak out of my own free will. That somewhere, someone is ready for these talks, ready for the insights of the awakened ones. When I am no more, the source of these insights will not be there. So while the flower has blossomed, its beauty and fragrance is not going to remain for long. Cherish it each moment. Such is the case. When Krishna is there, it is utmost importance to cherish those moments. However, one thing is certain, that Krishna is not born to remove thorns. As has been enunciated, that to remove the atrocities and to protect the sage, Krishna is born. Krishna is not born to clear the bushes and clear the thorns. But certainly he does, because that is his nature. The nature of the awakened one is to remove all that is obstructing the natural flow of the light within. Certainly he does and will remove the thorns. And if there is anyone who has lost the way, he will show him the right direction. This is the very essence of the awakened ones. This is the very essence of the awakened ones. Certainly he does and will remove the thorns. And if there is anyone who has lost the way, he will show him the right direction. This cannot mean that Krishna belongs to the traffic police, directing the people on the road. All this is non-causal. Krishna is not standing on the road like a traffic police to tell the people to go this way or that way. But certainly he will guide anyone who comes to him for guidance. Not like a standing like a traffic police, directing the traffic. The people who are going in the wrong direction, he directs them to go to the right direction. But if someone comes despondent one comes to him, he will show him the way. Buddha, Mahavir, Krishna and Christ manifest and exist for their own cause. This is the causeless existence that Krishna manifests. This Hindus call Yogmaya, the free will. Human soul and human consciousness implies that deep within, human soul and human consciousness implies that man deep within is totally free. Nothing binds him. Human soul and human consciousness implies that deep within man is totally free. Nothing binds him. I have heard a great astrologer once lived in a village. Whenever he said anything or whatever he said happened always. This made people fed up of him. Two youth who lived in the same village once thought to prove the astrologer wrong. It was winter season, so they reached the astrologer hiding a live pigeon under their woolen overcoat. They asked the astrologer that we have a pigeon hidden under our coat. We want to inquire if the pigeon is alive or dead. They had approached the astrologer with the intention of proving him wrong. They had already decided if the astrologer said the pigeon is alive, they will kill the pigeon inside before taking out. And if he said contrary, that the pigeon is dead, he will produce the bird alive. So with this intention of proving the astrologer wrong, they approached him. The astrologer looked at the two youths from top to bottom, and whatever he said was unique. Instead of saying the pigeon is alive or dead, he said the pigeon is in your hands. Imagine the beauty of these words. The pigeon is in your hand. Meaning, it is you who has to decide whether to bring it out alive or dead. Implying the pigeon can be dead or alive, it is certainly in your hands. My words are irrelevant. My presence is irrelevant. This is the way of the awakened ones, who had looked into those two youths, who have come to prove him wrong. Life is in your hands. You can live it as you want, conscious or unconscious, miserable or blissful. A man of awakening lives his life as he wants. No society, time or space can influence his understanding. Do you think Krishna was bothered by the society, whatever they inflicted the things on him? He did what he did. He did what he liked to do. A man of awakening lives his life as he wants. No society, time or space can influence his understanding. Krishna's understanding is not influenced by anyone. Whether it is Duryodhan, whether it is Dhritarashtra, whether it is Bhishma, he lives by his awakening and understanding. An awakened one lives by his consciousness, by his awakening. This is his total freedom. However, one thing has to understand, that awakened one lives in the world. He lives in the world. They are part of the world that you have created with your understanding. They are part of the world that you have created with your understanding. With your understanding as you are. As a result, many things happen. You have created a particular understanding and a way of life around you. That was your world that you have created. When you come in the company and the commune of the awakened one, what happens? That world that you have created, that understanding, that thinking, that way of life that you had created, woven around you, starts crumbling down like the castle of cards. Instead, a new structure comes into place. They are certainly part of the world that you have created. I am certainly part of the world that you have created. I respond to your questions that come out of your structure, that the life that you have created, the understanding that you have created. All your questions emanate out of that. And then what happens? As a result, many things happen. As a result, many things happen. It is in response to this question that this talk is happening. This question emanated out of your understanding. The response is coming out of my awakening, my understanding. So this is how it happens. The society existed out of its own way. Krishna existed and manifested his own consciousness. As a result, many things happen. The society, time, circumstances, or anything else are all irrelevant for Krishna. To say that Krishna comes for this reason or for that is to belittle his oceanic presence. To say that Krishna comes for this reason or for that is to belittle his oceanic presence and make him a utilitarian. And something that is utilitarian has a limitations too. A cup is utilitarian as long as it is existing. The moment it damages or breaks, it has no utility. Its utility is gone. But do you think Krishna's utility will diminish any time, or the utility of Jesus or the fragrance of Jesus will diminish at any time? It is better to say, do you think that the fragrance, the beauty, the awareness of these awakened ones will ever diminish? Or is it utilitarian? That it is relevant today and tomorrow it will not be relevant? Winter clothes are relevant only in winter. After winter is over, they are no more relevant. So does it mean that Krishna's presence, Krishna's message is relevant as long as he is alive, and when he is not, the message becomes redundant? No, it is beyond time and space. This is out of free will. Like any other awakened one, Krishna is aware of his oceanic presence. Although he comes into the world as wave, anyone who has come into the world always comes as a wave. He comes as an interaction between Ovam and his form, as an interaction between male and female energies, yin and yang, Shiva and Shakti. This is the wave form. The body comes into existence, it must perish. It can live in its oceanic presence. It can live in its divine form, manifest its divine form. That is a different matter altogether. But it always comes into life as a wave. I have assumed the form as a wave, have to live as a wave, born one day and will disappear one day. The body will disappear, but the consciousness that I represent was never born and never died. It was simply assimilated the moment the wave came into existence. And like any other awakened one, Krishna is aware of his oceanic presence. Although he comes into the world as a wave, but you also come as a wave like Krishna, but you are not aware of your oceanic presence. You have not been connected to your oceanic presence, and there is no way that you can connect to your oceanic presence in your present form as you are. This is why the commune of the masters is necessary, that he gives you a new birth. He gives you a new birth and connects you to your oceanic presence. Whosoever comes into the world through birth always comes like a wave. However, he is aware of his oceanic presence. This is the reason in Bhagavad Gita the sage poet used the word Shri Bhagwan Uvach. Uvach means spoke. Shri Bhagwan spoke. Instead of saying Shri Krishna spoke or Shri Krishna Uvach, Shri Bhagwan is the oceanic presence of Krishna, and Shri Krishna is the wave presence of Shri Bhagwan. They are so much overlapped into one another that we assume, we understand Krishna as the oceanic presence. But to differentiate, and for your sake, Vedavyas had made this specific clarification that the sutras of Bhagavad Gita are spoken as Shri Bhagwan Uvach, or Shri Bhagwan spoke. Thus spake Shri Bhagwan, not thus spake Krishna. Shri Bhagwan is the oceanic presence of Krishna, and Krishna is the wave presence of Shri Bhagwan. In Bhagavad Gita both overlapped, but for the distinction, for your understanding, it has been put that thus spake Shri Bhagavan. Shri Krishna Uvach. Wave is born, rises and falls. It is bound by birth and death. Ocean always is. It is immortal beyond birth and death. Oceanic presence descends when human consciousness transcends the finite boundaries of body and mind. Ocean always is. It is immortal beyond time and death. Ocean always is. It is immortal beyond birth and death. Oceanic presence descends. Oceanic presence descends when human consciousness transcends the finite boundaries of body and mind realm. Oceanic presence is of the beyond. It is not in your hands. It just descends when you cross the finite realm. Body-mind realm is finite. When you cross the body-mind realm, then that consciousness descends in you. It is, the body-mind realm is finite. It is wave-like that goes on changing each moment. One moment your emotions flow towards this one, and the next moment that person is no more relevant for you. This is finite. You like those who appreciate you, and they are friends, and those who dislike, who do not speak your language, they cannot be your friends. You live in finiteness. An awakened one lives by his awareness that has transcended the finiteness. The moment the awareness transcends, something descends or incarnates in you from the unknown beyond. The moment awareness transcends, something descends or incarnates in you from the unknown beyond. This is state when the ascension, this is state, and the moment the awareness transcends, something descends or incarnates in you from the unknown beyond. This is state when the ascension of consciousness is reached. Something descends in your consciousness, that is your oceanic presence. Speak of the ascension of Holy Prophet. When his consciousness ascended, something descended into his consciousness, and that was his oceanic presence. Traversing along life's roads, sometimes you are touched by this beyondness. Traversing along life's roads, sometimes you are touched by this beyondness. This is what happens to poets. However, the awakened ones live in that state. Awakened one lives in that state perennially. Therefore, to show the difference, the sage poet Vedavyas has allowed the sutras of Krishna to emerge as Shri Bhagavan Uvach. Thus spake Shri Bhagavan. Not that he said, thus spake Krishna. Man lives in cause and effect. Your love is also the outcome of this cause and effect relationship. Love is a cause and effect relation. Love indeed is not so, but for you it is cause and effect relation. You do not love someone without any cause. Remember, as long as you love, you live by this cause and effect relation. Religion that is of the beyond will not descend in you. Religion is beyond cause and effect relation. When you transcend beyond the cause and effect relationship, only then the religiousness is born within you. The religiousness descends in you. As long as you live by this cause and effect relation, religion that is beyond will not descend in you. The day things begin to happen unconditionally in your life, you are happy because someone has said something pleasant to you. Someone has appreciated your makeup that you put on today, or the new garb that you put on today. Your happiness is because of that. The day things begin to happen unconditionally in your life, you are happy because you are. Bliss surrounds as inner fragrance or inner light, and that you are light unto yourself. The moment you realize that I am light unto myself, the blissfulness surrounds you. It is at this stage of consciousness, and to show the unconditional happening, the sage poet makes Shri Bhagwan Uvach. Name parthasti trishulokeshu kinchana. I have nothing to, no action, nothing to do in the three universe, because I am blissful for my own reason. You are happy because of this or that, because you had made a dish which is liked by others. You had put on a clothes or wear a mask, a makeup that is liked by everyone, and everybody looks at your face and says that there is something beautiful on your face. This is cause. Name partha asti. Partha is another name for Arjun. Name partha asti. Asti is a verb. Name, na, no, me, I, partha, Arjun, asti, kartavyam, I have no actions. Trushu means three, Lokesh means three universe, Kinchan nothing. There is nothing for me to do in the three universe. Nanavaptapyam vart aivacha karmani. Yet still I engage in action ceaselessly. Why do I speak? Is my speaking is the cause of my bliss? Am I happy because I am speaking to you and I have made a nice talk or magazine or the journal this month? Is my happiness bound by that? No. My happiness, my blissfulness is the outcome of my inner light, my awakening, my understanding. That is beyond time and space. Nothing can take it. No circumstance, no situation can take away that blissfulness, that understanding, that joy that I represent, that I am. Yet still I continue to speak, continue to come on the air and speak to you. Because, why? Yadi iham na varteyam jatu karmanya tantritaha. Yadi, if, iham, I, na, no, varteyam, if I do not act that way, jatu karmanya tantritaha, everything will cease to exist. If sun does not exist, the flowers will not blossom. It is interrelated. Yadi iham na varteyam jatu karmanya tandrita. If I do not act, everything will come to a cessation. Mamu vartanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. Mama, mine. Vartanu means follow. Vartante, act. Manushyaha, men follow my path. When I say something, it becomes part of your understanding and your living. It changes. Mama vartanu vartante manushyaha. Partha Sarvashah. Hey Arjun, always men follow my words, men follow my awareness, men follow my understanding. That is why I speak. I have nothing to gain. I do not speak for my own reason. Krishna's existence is causeless. Krishna, the causeless existence. Born beyond time and space, without any cause or effect. Such is the life of an awakened one. Comes into existence out of his own free will. Speaks, manifests inner beauty and fragrance out of his own free will. Blossoms, bees gather around it to collect the nectar so that they can create joy and blissfulness in their life. This is not utility. Only this much for this morning's talk. Krishna, the causeless existence. Tomorrow I will speak on the sutras of the 4th chapter. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharat. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharat. Abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. And the following words, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavam yuge yuge. Only this much for this morning.